2026 is shaping up to be one of the most exciting years for history buffs, with discoveries that could rewrite parts of the ancient world and artifacts hitting the road for the American public. From Roman shipwrecks to Egyptian tools, these finds illuminate daily life, technology, and trade across civilizations. Let's break down the most fascinating developments from around the world. Just this year, Italian authorities stumbled upon a nearly intact late Roman merchant shipwreck in the Ionian Sea. Discovered during routine patrols, the find sat quietly under wraps to protect it from looters. High-resolution scans revealed a vessel resting with cargo intact, rows of amphorae preserved by the depths. Those amphorae? Not just jars, they carried garum, Rome's prized fermented fish sauce. Garum fueled cuisine, commerce, and status, an everyday taste with imperial reach. The ship dates to the late imperial period, centuries of shifting power and bustling Mediterranean trade. Stamped handles and fabric types can pinpoint workshops, routes, and merchants behind the cargo. Think of the sea as Rome's highway. Garum flowed from coastal factories to markets across the empire. Factories brined fish offal in vats, sealed jars with pitch, then shipped them fast before profits soured. At the market, labels and stamps told buyers the grade, origin, and maker, brand trust in antiquity. In homes and taverns, a splash of garum transformed even simple meals into something craveable. Art, mosaics, and inscriptions echo this popularity, a condiment woven into cultural identity. The ship's layout preserves a moment in time, how crew balanced weight, protected jars, and managed space. Each amphora is a data point, turning a meal staple into a map of life and labor. Underwater archaeologists work with ROVs to document before touching. Context is everything. Photogrammetry stitches thousands of images into accurate 3D models of the entire wreck. These models let teams plan safe recovery, conserve fragile pieces, and share the site globally. Residue analysis can detect fish proteins, herbs, and additives, recipes encoded in chemistry. Chemical signatures help distinguish premium sauces from everyday blends, and even regional styles. Micro-CT reveals contents and construction without breaking vessels. See before you lift. Conservation stabilizes salt-soaked ceramics, ensuring they survive long after the headlines fade. Authorities kept the discovery confidential for months, a shield against illicit salvage. Silence buys time to study, to plan, and to keep a shared heritage in the public trust. Meanwhile, digital releases invite students and the curious to explore the wreck virtually. Exhibit designers prototype displays that respect the site and tell human stories. On site, every inch is mapped because moving one object can rewrite the puzzle. Underwater, patience is the most powerful tool. Next, a small copper tool in Egypt isn't just old. It shifts our timeline of innovation by centuries. In storage, a small copper piece from the 1920s sat mislabeled, a humble awl with a leather thong. But new microscopes and fresh eyes revealed something different. Rotary wear, not simple punctures. Those spiral striations are signatures of controlled spinning against hard materials. Compared to known drills, the patterns match rotational drilling, consistent, repeatable, deliberate. Dated to the late 4th millennium BCE, over 5,000 years ago, it predates similar metal drills by millennia. Picture a bow drill, a cord wrapped around the shaft, a steady hand, and a rhythm practiced over years. The result? Clean, repeatable holes in hard materials. Faster production, finer tolerances. Rotary drilling accelerates bead making, small luxuries that carry meaning, status, and style. In woodwork, it enables tighter joints and new forms. Technology shaping design choices. Copper must be softened and hardened in cycles. Anneal, work, repeat. Knowledge passed down hands-on. A simple leather wrap becomes a transmission system, turning hand motion into rotational power. Side-by-side holes tell the story. Roundness, polish, and micro-scratches align with rotary motion. Craft is practice. Precision emerges from rhythm, feedback, and time. In context, the tool sits among objects of beauty and utility, technology serving culture. Microscopy captured wear angles, debris patterns, and polish around the tip. Replicas tested the hypothesis, producing the same spiral marks and residue. High-speed footage reveals constant torque with minimal wobble. effective and elegant. Traces of copper on experimental beads matched ancient residues, another line of evidence. Multiple labs replicated results, critical for claims that shift technological timelines. Peer review scrutinized data, methods, and claims before the announcement. A small tool, a big leap. Innovation often hides in plain sight. By pushing rotary drilling earlier, we revise what craftspeople could build. And when? Different places, different goals, shared drive to solve problems with tools. For educators, this is a case study in evidence, testing, and rethinking assumptions. The lesson: technology is older and more human than our tidy timelines suggest. Next, history leaves the vault and takes flight. A plane, a plan, and documents that shaped a nation. In 2026, the National Archives announced a coast-to-coast tour, founding-era documents taking to the skies. Inside, a rare 1823 engraving of the Declaration of Independence, one of only about 50 known. Commissioned by John Quincy Adams, Stone's engraving preserved the text as the original faded. The tour launched in Kansas City, then heads to Atlanta, Los Angeles, Houston, Denver, Miami, Dearborn, and Seattle. Moving a national treasure is logistics and stewardship. Routes, climate, and security all aligned. It's history in motion, literally. For students, the journey is a countdown to seeing civics come alive. Temporary galleries are built to museum standards, light strictly controlled, humidity dialed in. Curators minimize stress, no direct light, precise angles, and approved materials only. Up close, you see the engraving's craft and the names that framed a nation. Docents translate parchment into people, debate, compromise, and consequences. Interactive kiosks trace how copies spread, how ideas travel and take root. Security is constant, because access for many requires protection by a few. A sketch today can become a civic spark tomorrow. Each stop adds local context, regional histories woven into a national tapestry. The tour doubles as a lesson in sources, how we know what we claim to know. Public history thrives when generations compare notes and values. Gamified learning pulls in new audiences. Fun first, curiosity follows. Between stops, the cargo rests, sealed, monitored, and steady at altitude. Live sensors ensure conditions stay within tight tolerances. Anticipation builds. Rare objects turn into one-night memories. Taking documents out is risky, but public access is a core mission. Facsimiles teach, but originals carry presence. History's gravity in a single glance. A moment shared becomes a message spread. History amplified by modern networks. Final stops cap the journey. Coast to coast, archives to audiences. Then it's wheels up again. Heritage on schedule. Now let's connect the dots. From Roman commerce to Egyptian innovation to American memory, what ties them together is perspective. These stories aren't just old, they're alive, shifting how we read the past. Trade, technology, and texts, three pillars that shape civilizations. Ships then and supply chains now. Logistics define culture as much as cuisine. A rotary motion links millennia. Human ingenuity scales from hand to machine. Texts endure by copying. Engravings and prints keep ideas alive as originals fade. Education turns artifacts into questions, and questions into understanding. The sea preserves what cities erase. Perfect laboratories of daily life. History advances like science. Hypothesize, test, revise, repeat. New data pushes timelines. Sometimes gently, sometimes dramatically. Announcements are finales of long, quiet processes you rarely see. Conservation is slow, patient care, preventing future loss while we interpret the past. Public archaeology invites communities in, stewardship through participation. Audiences ask for nuance, curators respond with layered storytelling. Primary sources anchor narratives. Interpretation rests on evidence, not rumor. A maker's stamp equals pride and accountability across a trade network. Technology often begins at home, skills shared across generations. Words on paper become civic rituals, repeated, debated, renewed. Ledgers and lists capture lives lived through numbers and names. Finish work is intimacy, tools close to the skin and eye. Touchless tracing still connects, learning through careful looking. Time erodes, then returns, revealing and concealing in cycles. With global heritage comes responsibility, permits, provenance, and transparency. Illicit trade thrives on secrecy. Public research counters with open data. When possible, digitize and share. Access without risk to fragile originals. Education kits extend exhibits beyond a single city or day. Precision on site means accuracy for everyone who studies later. Feedback loops make history a conversation, not a monologue. Every move is documented, care is measurable. What ties all this together isn't just age, it's perspective. These finds show how much we still have to learn about ingenuity and the forces that shape civilizations. And these stories aren't locked in textbooks. They're in the ground and coming to light. Curiosity is the tool anyone can wield, no permit required. With digital tools, barriers fall. More minds, better questions. Navigation is shared, stars, charts, and now data sets guiding the way. One more thing, how you can steer what we cover next. If you want a deeper dive into any of these discoveries, tell me which to explore next. Want the Roman shipwreck, trade routes, residue tests, and 3D mapping? Comment shipwreck. Curious about the Egyptian tool, experimental archaeology, and wear analysis? Comment drill. Or the Freedom Plane, preservation on the move and behind-the-scenes logistics? Comment tour. Vote in the poll, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the deep dive you picked. History isn't a fixed story, it's a living investigation we do together. Thanks for watching, and for keeping curiosity alive. See you in the next episode.